It's Stephanie Shea, Chief Astrologer for janspiller.com with your monthly horoscope. This one's for you, Cancer. Happy May. We're coming into a month that's going to slow down as it progresses. This may sound like good news for you. March and April had some high-powered, fiery astrology. You might have felt a bit more pushed into extroverted situations than feels comfortable for Cancer. You get to go back into your shell a little bit, especially towards the end of the month. A lot of this month's astrology is going to encourage alone time, reflection, and personal realization. Now, May 15th is the date we enter the shadow phase of an upcoming Mercury retrograde cycle. This is our second Mercury retrograde of the year. We had one back in February. This one will go from May 29th to June 22nd. And that's why it's best to initiate new agreements or make important decisions during the first part of May before we enter that shadow. And you can use the second part of the month to slow down and wrap things up. Now we've got a full moon eclipse at the end of the month, and Cancers are known to be lunar attuned, and that's how Jan put it. And I like that term, meaning you really feel what your ruling planetary body, the moon, is doing. And so when it's a full moon eclipse, it's a heads up. It's nothing to fear. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this horoscope. But know that it can shed light on some matters related to your work, perhaps your use of time and energy, ways you take care of your body. I'll get more into that, but that's coming up. Let's start at the beginning. We've got the sun shining in Taurus, and that lasts through May 19th. So you might be feeling actually a bit social during these days, and it's a great time to make those valuable personal and professional connections. Now, on the 20th, the sun will move into Gemini. That is what's going to tune you in more to your inner voice, your inner wisdom, and your intuition. So you can use journaling as an extra powerful tool during the days that the sun is in Gemini. It can help you access some important downloads from your subconscious or your spirit guides. So I encourage you to take advantage of that energy. And as I said, because we're approaching that Mercury retrograde cycle that starts on May 29th, you can also use the second half of the month for anything related to research, writing, editing. If you have any works in progress that need to be revised or finished, it's an excellent time for that. It's also a great time for contemplative practices. So there's lots you can do when you're approaching and going into Mercury retrograde. Think about tasks that you can do on your own. Now, you're going to also be able to catch up on correspondence and your own self-care. That's a great thing to do when the energies kind of slow down. It gets you to take a breath, So we've got Venus entering Gemini on May the 8th. Venus will be in Gemini through June 1st. This offers a lot of support for your creative visions. This is really good news for artists and other creative types. You can use Venus in Gemini for brainstorming, artistic play. All these energies are associated with the sign of Gemini. Definitely have some fun with that. And you can use the days between May 8th and May 14th to identify and express new ideas that may have just been bubbling beneath the surface. It's a great time to vocalize those, maybe commit to those. May 11th, new moon will be at 21 degrees of Taurus. You can use the power of this new moon to set intentions that have to do with stability on any level, financial, emotional, physical, finding your people, attracting reliable allies, making or raising money for good cause, and participating in activities that benefit humanity and the environment. It's a very altruistic type of new moon energy, helping us stay connected to the world around us. And we've got a granddaddy power period that could be coming up for Cancer rising people. So I'll put the link in this video description. If you've read Jan's book, New Moon Astrology, you're hip to the granddaddy power period. If you haven't read the book, you can learn about it on the website. Check out the link. Right now, as we're coming into the season where Cancer rising, not Cancer sun, but Cancer rising people may be entering this extra powerful time for manifestation. So it's well worth checking out when a new moon lands in your granddaddy power period. So the days between May 11th and 14th are going to be the best days this month for new beginnings, because you'll have that burst of new moon energy, and we haven't hit the shadow of Mercury retrograde, so it's kind of a sweet spot in the month. Just remember, May 29th to June 22nd are the Mercury retrograde dates. So whatever doesn't get initiated by mid-month, try to get it on the calendar for July if it's a big initiation or decision. Now let's talk about this full moon lunar eclipse. Big deal. May 26, 5 degrees Sagittarius. And because you're ruled by the moon, you may have a strong emotional response around these full moons, and especially the lunar eclipse. Just knowing the eclipse is coming can be really helpful, so you can plan and give yourself extra space and process what might emerge. It's actually a useful energy to bring things to light that may have been buried. You can definitely examine things like your daily life, routines, health, and work, and use the power of this eclipse to gain clarity about what you need in those areas of life. It can be very useful, very practical. And the good news, if you've been working on a project since the beginning of the year, back when we had some eclipses before, now you may see some solid results of your efforts. So there is a reward aspect to these full moon lunar eclipses as well. I hope you can make the most of May's astrology. There's lots to work with. Be safe and be well, and I look forward to seeing you next month with your horoscope.